right? This part. So in this lesson, you are having some technical stuff, technical things, and therefore you have to focus more when understanding the lesson, right? So this will be a good start for the beginners. So we will be learning about fundamentals of the computer system, and basically we will be discussing about features of a computer. So what kind of features are there in the computer? Then classification of the computers. So how computers can be classified based on the purpose, based on the technology, or based on usage, how we can categorize, and the devices of the computer system, and basically the basic components of the computer systems, ports, slots, and other components of the motherboard, and how to assemble a computer, or how to compose, or how to create a computer by using components. So we will be discussing that as well. And also we will learn how to network computers. That means how to connect multiple computers together. And actually, so if you have friends nearby, so this is the time to get together with them and create a home area network. So maybe you can connect your computer to the nearby home, or maybe you can connect to the connect the computers in your village. So as a practical, you can do that also. So if you have friends, because this is in a New Year season, so you can create a network and celebrate your maybe not that much of speed, because when we discuss the network chapter, I think it will be after the New Year we can discuss about the network part. Anyway, next week also you are having the class, because that is before the New Year, and week after next week, next week after next week, I think we have to give a leave due to this New Year, right? But so let's see. So it depends on the date. So if it is not fall into the New Year season, so we will not cancel any class. Actually, if you really need a leave to visit your neighbors, then we'll consider that. Otherwise, we'll have the class as regular classes. Okay, then. So the first, it explains, so what is a computer? So computer is a system. So basically it's a system. What is system? We learned this in the first chapter. What is a system? System is, yes. Okay, Anuja. What is a system? Okay, I'll ask from Vanshika. Vanshika, what is a system? We learned this in the first chapter. System එකක් කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? What is a system? We learned in the first chapter. Come on. Okay, anyone who can remember? Lavanya, Minudi, anyone who can remember?
Collection of data and information.
Collection of data and information. Collection of thing is correct. Anyone can try? Roveen, Lashen, anyone we should try?
Collection of information.
No, not information. No. So for an example, okay, let's say respiratory system is a system. Is it information? Swasana Paddhati. Respiratory system is also
Data.
You have data in respiratory system? Is that? Collection of components. You have to tell collection of not yes, collection of interrelated and interconnected components working together for a common goal. Since you cannot remember, I think it's better to remember that and start, remind that and start. So what is the system and how it behaves? Let's move to the fundamentals. But anyway, so you should know the difference between data and information, right? So data are raw facts about something, someone, or some concept. So data are raw facts about something, someone, or some concept, whereas information is processed data or meaningful data. Actually, we learned this in the first chapter. Just revising the things that we have learned. And then we discuss the difference between data and information. Data less meaningful, but information is always meaningful. Data less valuable, information is more valuable, and information is used in decision making. It is an action motivator, and it has a time value, and it is organized. Likewise, we discuss about information, value of the information. And then we learned that, so information value is changing over the time. And then we came to the system. So in case if you cannot remember, my advice is please write down, no need to write down the Sinhala note, just write down the English one. It is interrelated and interconnected set of components that works together to achieve a common goal. So please write down this, that is a system. And also write down what is information system. Information system is a system which focusing on processing data and creating information. So data processed and information is created. So this process happen according to the instruction given. Okay? The data processed and information is produced, and this has several stages. This has several stages. So one is capturing data. Data should be captured. For example, think that in your examination, in your term test, how marks is given, how the position is selected basically, how the position is found in your class. Yes, I'll ask. So these are general things. Exam එකේ ඔයාලා කීවෙනියද කියලා හොයන්නේ කොහොමද? In a classroom. Yes. How to find out the first rank, the second rank, and third rank person? Vanshika, yes.
Average.
Yes, based on the average marks. So how average mark is found? කොහොමද average marks හොයන්නේ? Rovin? Girls, come on, you have to talk. Yes, Minodi, Lavanya, කොහොමද average හොයන්නේ? How average mark is found? Yes.
Total එක බෙදනවා.
Total එක බෙදනවා මොකෙද්ද? Anuj?
Number of subjects.
Number of subjects. Yes, total you have to divide number of subjects. Then anyway, what do you have to input to that? ඒක ගන්න input කරන්න වෙන්නේ මොනවද? You have to input the marks of the subjects. So let's say you have 10 subjects, you have to input the marks of those 10 subjects. How marks is calculated actually by looking at the paper. How you perform, that is your mark. So anyway, your mark is representation of your paper. Representation means instead of one thing, you give another thing. Paper, you can't tell, you can't, so basically when you go to the parents meeting, when your parents go to the parents meeting after the term test, because typically in some schools you have parents meeting. Some school වල තියෙනවා parents meetings තියෙනවා. එතකොට අර progress එක තමයි කියන්නේ ළමයින්ගේ. එතකොට parents meeting එකේදී, so in the parents meeting basically, so teachers are showing marks, only the marks, not the paper. ප්‍රශ්න පත්‍ර 10ම ඔයාලා ලියලා තියෙනවා අරගෙන උත්තර පත්‍ර 10ක් අරගෙන, they are not showing your parents the marking scheme, answer strips. Those are not shown to the parents. Instead of that, a representation. So how the representation of the paper is your marks. Your marks reflects your paper. Or paper එක ලියලා තියෙන හැටි ලකුණු වලින් තමයි මනින්නේ. That will be given to the parents. And so data capturing is important. That is through the paper. Then data representation is very important. Teacher will memorize the data and tell that මෙයා නම් පන්ති අන්තිමයා. මෙයා වැඩ කරන්නේ නැහැ. Teacher will memorize that and represent it using that your marks. It's represented using your marks. And process data. That means calculating the total and average is required. Store data. So what will happen to the marks? Teacher will write down in your progress report. Progress report එකේ ලියනවා teacher. School progress report එකක් තියෙනවනම් teacher will write down everything in your progress report. So that storage is important. And teacher will tell that to the other teachers. මෙයා නම් පන්ති හොඳට වැඩ කරනවා. මෙයා නම් වැඩ කරන්නේ නැහැ. Likewise, teacher will share information with other teachers. That is output and communication. Sometimes a teacher have to communicate. Teacher has to communicate those things to principal. So communication means expressing of those information only. Anyway, in an information system where you have data and processing as well as information, you can see these features. So kindly write down the note from the beginning what is system and what is information system, and what happened in the information system, and what kind of activities are there in the information system. Kindly write down this. Meanwhile, if you have any doubt, you can ask, right? So no need to write down the Sinhala one, just write the English one. In case if you cannot remember the Sinhala wording, or if you are facing difficulties, then you can write down the Sinhala note too. But my recommendation is writing in English will be enough. Now you know so what is a system and what are the components of information system, and what is the process happening in the information system. Actually, the computer system is a kind of information system. So computer is also a system, but it is a kind of information system. So this big, what you call grandfather is the system. Father is information system, and the son is computer system. And you have some granddaughters and grandsons. Those are, you can say, hardware subsystem, software subsystem, and then you have liveware subsystem. Those are some grandchildren, right? So anyway, the parent or maybe the grandfather is the system. That is the root. From system, you will get information system. It has several tasks. And from the information system, you get the computer system. That is also interrelated components, and set of components work together to achieve the common goal of, it's very important, electronic data processing. That is the common goal of computer system. And it captures data, process according to the instruction, and produces the information. And that is the task of computer system. And so in the computer system, as I said, there are some grandchildren. So who are they, or what are those? Those are hardware, software, and liveware. These are the three special subsystems, right, in the computer system. These are the three subsystems in the computer system, and these subsystems work together to do the task of electronic data processing. That means based on the instructions given by the programmers or the computers, computers capture data and process and produce information. That's what happening in the computer system. Only the English part, I think you can just focus on the English part and write down that. And if you need any explanation, it's still, no, single explanation is also there. So computer system is a set of components. කොටස් ගොඩක් එකතු වෙලා තමයි අර්ථයක් සහිත දත්ත, sorry, අර්ථ රහිත දත්ත පාවිච්චි කරලා අර්ථ සහිත තොරතුරු හදන්න එකට වැඩ කරන ඉලෙක්ට්‍රොනිකව මේ ක්‍රියා කරන පරිගණක පද්ධතිය හැදේ. ඉතින් එතකොට ඒකේ ගති ලක්ෂණ තමයි අපි කලින් කතා කරේ ඕනෑම ඉන්ෆර්මේෂන් සිස්ටම් එකක තියෙන්න ඕන ගති ලක්ෂණ ටිකක් තියෙනවා. Data capturing. So how computer system do the data capturing? Yes. How computer system does data capturing? How it capture data? Computer system, you know that. Yes. How computer system? Yes.
Data that are sent by the user.
Yeah. How it capture? Through which devices it capture?
Numbers.
No, I'm asking about the devices. Through which
Storage
devices?
devices.
Sorry?
Storage devices.
Capturing means obtaining. Taking in. Capturing means taking in. Capturing a photo means taking the photo. Yes, input devices. How data capturing is done? Using input devices. And memorizing is done using memory or the main memory. Processing is done using processing devices. Storage is done using storage devices. Output and communication is done using output devices and communication devices. So likewise, for each of the tasks here, there are components in the computer system. Those are called hardware. And software also, you have components. Capturing data that is done by various applications, which allowing us to type, which allowing us to record, So that is to capture audio, which allowing us to video using the web camera software. We can video. So software is also there in addition to the hardware, and the memorize and representation. So again, in addition to the hardware, software is also there. Data processing, there are different software. Editing video, there's a software. Editing audio, editing text. You have different software. And storage is done again using files and folders. For those, again, the file types and the folders, those are depends on the software. And output and presentation is also done. So for an example, PowerPoint present a slide, Word present a document, and Audacity present an audio, Movie Maker present a video, Photoshop present a picture. Likewise, for output also there are different software programs. And the communication, for that also you have software. Zoom, for an example. Now we are using Zoom for communicating this lesson to you. So some people in some schools, they are using MS Team to communicate the message to you. Some maybe in your personal chats, you're using WhatsApp. So sometimes Viber, sometimes Emo, and sometimes Facebook Messenger. So those are also software. For each of these tasks, there is a set of hardware components as well as software components. Right? In the computer system, you can see these subsystems, but why what these subsystems are doing, actually they are focusing on the tasks in the information system. So what happened in the information system is also there in the computer system, because so this is the grandfather and this is father. The father's attributes and features are there in the next generation, that is son or daughter. So you can see the father's attributes and features. Father has these things, so you also have all these features. Okay, now you can just note down and write down that. So here in this lesson, I'm sorry, but you have some more notes to write down. Unlike the previous lesson, you have more to do. So please focus and write. So why this is important? I can give this as a printed note. Anyway, I'll send this as a printed note. But the thing is, so better write down, because writing down will increase your memory capacity. And then no need to buy hard this, no need to study this again and again. This time itself, you can get this to get and store this in your storages. That's why writing is important. Okay, please write down the computer system, then the computer system components, as well as the other subsystems related to computer system. Please write down that. Right, okay, so then, so this has more theory, more content to write, right? So that is the nature of this lesson. Right, then you should know how these components are interacting together. Okay, before we move into the particular section, I would like to give you small self-test, kind of self-test. Okay, I'll ask this question from Praveen. Okay, you just join, right? Okay, it's okay. Praveen, can you tell me the answer when you add 5 plus 8? 5 plus 8, what is the answer, Praveen?
30.
5 plus 8, right? 5 plus 8. 13. Yeah, 13. Correct. 5 plus 8, 13. So then, okay, I'll ask from Lashen. Lashen, so can you tell me the answer? 5 plus 8, divide by 2, multiply by 3, subtract 27 from that, add 10 to that, again divide by 2. What is the answer? Lashen?
Sir, can you repeat the question?
Yeah. So that was my expectation. So why? What's the reason for asking the repeating? So why you ask to repeat the question? So the previous one, you saw that previous one, Praveen has given the answer. Lashen, why you couldn't give the answer? So what's the reason? Because it's okay. Tell me the truth. Because you can't remember the question, no? You can't remember the question. It is too long. The previous one, which I asked from the Praveen, if I ask the same question from you, okay, what is the answer, Lashen? What is 8 plus 7, Lashan?
15.
15. You know the answer. You know how to calculate. You can hear me. Your inputs are working because you can hear me. Your outputs are working because you gave the answer. Right? Your inputs are working because you can hear me. Your outputs are working because you gave me the answer. And your processing devices are also working because that's why you calculated. Your brain is also working. But why you didn't give the answer for my second question is just because one thing, that is due to the insufficient memory. We are having these issues. We have very limited amount of memory. We can't remember everything in our memory at once. Right? Okay, how many pages you can remember in your, okay, let me know. So how many pages that you can remember in your textbook? Yes, Anuja? How many pages you can remember in your textbook? Your textbook has it has around 200 pages, more than 200 pages. Can you remember all 200 pages? Anuja? Roveen, can you remember? So if you can remember, it's great, but it's not possible. So that's why you have a book. Otherwise, they will not give you a book where they will ask you to remember everything, right? So that's why you have a book, because we can't remember everything. That's why you have a book. That's why I'm giving you a note. Otherwise, I'll just explain the lesson. So, okay, now we have explained. Okay, bye, good night, likewise. I can just finish the lesson. But why I'm giving notes? Because it is not possible to remember everything in your memory. Okay, so that is the basic reason. Now you know how computer works, right? I didn't tell anything about the computer, but now you know how computer works. We want to see how it is this. So when you give an input, it will go to the main memory. So I ask, what is 5 plus 7? So it will first go to the main memory. In memory, you have 5 and 7, 5 plus 7. It will then send to the brain, from memory to brain. Okay, I ask, what is 5 plus 7? Right? 5 plus 7, it's in the memory. Now it's going to be in the brain. 5 plus 7 will be added in the brain. It's 12. 12 will come back to the memory. 5 plus 7 is 12, and 12 will come back to the memory. 12 will come back to the memory. So that answer you will produce as the output. That's what you told me. I asked, what is 8 plus 7? You said 15. 8 plus 7 will first go to the memory, then go to the processor. You will process and add, and you know the value is 15. 15 will come back to the memory, and from that you can output. So that is the way that basically computer works. Inputs are going to the main memory. From main memory, it will go to the processor. From the processor, it will be calculated and taken back to the memory, and that will be given as the output. Because you cannot remember everything one by one, you have something called secondary storage that is similar to your books. That is why you write down note, because you can't remember everything. Main memory is limited, therefore you write. Main memory is limited, therefore you write. You write down in the book. You print a note. You keep a book, likewise. Right, okay. So then, I think you better draw this quickly, right? I'll explain one by one. First, draw the structure. Write down the heading, interconnection of hardware. And this is also called block diagram of the computer. And carefully draw this. And this white line is also important. These white lines are also important. Please draw all these things. I'll give you 2 minutes. Please draw.